I did a previous video about how on a micro scale and macro scale, both people people can get obsessed with petty things. We can make a mountain out of a molehill. Okay. And to illustrate on a micro scale, I use the example of one of my aunts saying about her niece, here comes so and so and her brood, and another aunt getting so offended by the word brood, which was not meant to be offensive, that she didn't talk to that aunt for years afterwards. And I don't know if the relationship was ever healed. But she was just, she just made a mountain out of that molehill, out of the use of that word, brood, which was, again, it was not meant to be offensive. It was just that here comes so and so and her brood. Okay. There was another similar case, but I didn't experience it myself. I read about it, and I think it was Dear Abby. Okay. This woman mentioned to her daughter-in-law that she and her late husband, her husband was deceased, had not been in love. They had decided to get married because the husband mentioned that the two of them, even though they weren't in love, they got along well, and he thought they could make a go of it and, raise a kid together, even without being in love. Now, this is something that would be perfectly okay to tell to your psychiatrist or psychologist. Maybe even to your best friend, male or female. She told this to her daughter-in-law. In a society that to a large extent thinks you're supposed to be in love before you marry, she told this to her daughter-in-law. Okay, so the daughter-in-law takes this little molehill and decides that her mother-in-law is a prostitute because she married a man she didn't love. And she started constantly flailing away at it. Of course, the mother-in-law is a widow. It's really a kind of a moot point. And she started making this huge deal out of it. Now, the daughter-in-law was really in the wrong to make a big deal out of something that really was none of her business. At the same time, the mother-in-law had made a big gaffe and showed very poor judgment in telling something that could be used against her to, of all people, her daughter-in-law, because everybody knows that there is a tendency for in-laws not to get along and to use things against each other. Okay, and anyway, she asked Dear Abby, do you think that a woman who marries a man she doesn't love has lived the life of a prostitute? And Dear Abby replied, certainly not. Your reasons for marrying were your own. It's too bad you didn't keep it that way. I'll say. It is too bad she didn't keep it that way. And it's also too bad that her daughter-in-law didn't just drop it. But, that tends to happen. That tends to happen, and, to get the larger implications out there, we tend to be far more interested in somebody putting their foot in their mouth misspeaking a word, you know, getting somebody's pronouns wrong, then the fact that, you know, people are going without food, the fact that so many people in this country live check to check, can't even, don't have any savings, and are, one emergency away from being homeless. So many people actually are homeless. So many children are homeless. So many children don't have, are food insecure. But no, we have to spend all our time, um, you know, twisting ourselves into pretzels